Okay, let's get back to the severe weather. Obviously, it still continues across Knox County. We have flood warnings still in effect, as you can see illustrated here. Hopefully, what we can do during this session is be a little more interactive with the map behind me. You can clearly see we have a flash flood warning for Blount County. This now extends into Monroe County. Monroe County is now under a flash flood warning until 8 p.m. The one that's in Blount County and Loudoun County runs till 8:15. It's semantics, a couple of minutes, 15 minutes. But the severe thunderstorm warning is now in effect until 6 o'clock for Sevier County and Knox County till 5:15. There's a box here that overlaps 15 after 5 and 6 o'clock. So a couple of these boxes are going to disappear. I'm going to go back full screen and come back to your comments as needed, but just wanted to illustrate to you that the energy that was in Jamestown has come down to the valley. And as we can normally say, some of you say, well, I don't live in Jamestown, I live in Fentress County. Well, some of the weather that they get sometimes comes here. And in this case, with that northwesterly flow of air, that's exactly what's happening. If you need more evidence of that, I like to show you and like to demonstrate that this is all moving down from the north and west. So areas from Clinton, which is now seeing improvement. Areas in downtown Knoxville, downpours there. Heavy rain that was in Cookeville is now in Sparta and in parts of Cumberland County. So the last 30 minutes, very telling because you can see where it's going to be most likely in the next 30 minutes from now. So Blaine, you should be prepared for downpours, rain, and Maryville's been spared. A lot of it's moved to the south of Maryville and to the north of Maryville and really hasn't affected, say, Pigeon Forge as much in the last, say, hour, 2 hours, because we were on for about an hour and 10 minutes when I did my last live stream. Cookeville, for example, Putnam County, flash flood warning till 7:15. We're going to look at the amounts here in a moment, but let me zoom in and show you what we have at the moment for a drive home at 5:15. Again, I encourage you to download the free Captain Accurate weather app. Just search the two words Captain Accurate, because you're going to get the traffic reports. You see, this is where it becomes quintessential. Yes, you're getting weather information, but when traffic is becoming a problem, Pete Michaels is there to kind of guide you as well. So you get both on the app, weather and traffic perfect together. Downpours right now from Knoxville to Fountain City to Amherst, Cedar Bluff and Carnes. Notice there's a cutoff, sharp cutoff. There's nothing going on in Solway or Oak Ridge at the moment, but there is activity in Carnes. Very little going on in Oliver Springs, but it was coming down in buckets there not that long ago. Keep in mind, all things relative, the rain that's been intense, when it rains, it pours. High dew points typically mean that we're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot, of standing water in these red areas. And it gets as dark as night. So I could say live Tuesday evening at 5:15. So evening's not 5:14. It looks as dark at night where you are if you're in Carnes. If you're in Fountain City, Holston Hills, downtown Knoxville, it sure looks like it's dark at night, right? So a lot of consideration here with the downpours that we're dealing with. Bearden, Rocky Hill, severe thunderstorm watch. We had one to expire at 5:15, so I believe the box just expired northwest of the city, northwest of Knox County, and you could see that over the last 15 minutes. I'm going to do a loop. Yeah, there was a big box. See, the box is just, it shrunk. It left Clinton. It's no longer in Clinton. It's no longer in Oak Ridge. So Anderson County, you're seeing some improvement. Behind it, Oak Ridge, is some light to moderate rain in yellow that's covering Oneida, Sunbright, and Wartburg, but nothing as intense as what you just dealt with. So I think the worst is over for Jamestown, Wartburg. I think the worst is over for Monticello, and clearly there's nothing to see, even from the national view, which I can switch over. There's really nothing to see back toward Bowling Green. Yeah, there's a couple of storms around maybe south of Evansville, but that's not going to make it here tonight. I think we're going to be okay. I do know, and I'm very aware, that the yellow areas, the yellow counties, as they come back in, refer to a watch that runs until 9 o'clock. There's a watch that runs until 9 o'clock Knox County as well. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's pulled, the plug is pulled sometime between 7 and 8 o'clock. It could happen a lot. It could be sooner than that. I don't think we're going to go to 9 o'clock worrying about storms. I left a 30% chance, y'all, for tonight's rain. So once the sun goes down, which happens just around 8:30 or so, a little after 8:30, you're going to find, in some cases, where the rain is not even a factor. So I just wanted to show you the big picture, because sometimes it helps to see the big picture. There's not a whole lot, and if you look over the last, let's say, last hour, it's important to see what's upstream. When I say upstream, if you're a fisherman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's not a whole lot here. So we've got some energy, but I think a 30% chance of rain. The worst of what we're dealing with is now, and it just happens to stink because it happens during the afternoon commute. Or in this case, what looks like the dark of night commute because it's so dark. Let's go back to the radar. I want to show you what we're seeing in terms of that, in terms of the darkness here. We got downpours right now, and looking at the warnings, got downpours down toward Loudoun, Von Orr, and Greenback. Intense rain. That's why they've issued flash flood warnings. Now you might ask yourself, is this one of those situations we have turn around, don't drown? In case, possibly yes. The severe thunderstorm warning runs till 6. That includes Sevierville. That includes Pigeon Forge, because where is this going to go? This is one we want to explore too. But where the rain has been aggravating situations would be Greenback, Von Orr, Loudoun, Lenoir City. And last I checked, over the last 6 hours, let's go to the accumulation here. Yeah, it's intense. It's intense. When you see yellow, it's usually over 2 inches, 2, possibly 3. So we've got here, what, about 2.5, Greenback 2.7, areas not far from Rocky Hill, about 2.3. I believe that's Rocky Hill area, just south of Carnes. Cedar Bluff, Bearden area, 2.3. Yeah, just north of Rocky Hill. Bearden, 2.3 inches. That's just in the last 6 hours. So this is why, and you say, well, they warned a big area. I mean, technically, you could argue, say, well, this area's got a lot of it, this area's got a lot, but they've covered a lot of other territory that's had much less rain. I think they're just trying to cover all bases, right? Because some of this could fill in. Some of this could fill in here in the next few minutes, if not the next hour or two. As I say, the worst of this, I think, will be over between 7 and 8, if not sooner. We're already seeing improvement northwest of Jamestown. Hardly anything going on in Monticello, other than maybe some light rain, also rain back towards Somerset. So again, the canaries in the coal mine. Very quiet north and west as far as the intensity, that's for sure. If you're back to the west, Plateau, Ray County, looks like Bledsoe, also severe thunderstorm warning till 5 o'clock central. I mentioned Cumberland County, it's southwestern Cumberland until 4:30 central for some downpours and winds that could be approaching 60 miles an hour. Let's talk about what the Weather Service has, because this is the severe thunderstorm that's in Knoxville, has the potential, has the legs to walk all the way to Kodak, all the way to Sevierville, and all the way to Pigeon Forge if it is allowed to do so. And I think there's nothing going to impede it. It's all going to head in that direction. So I want to check what our friends at the Weather Service are using their timing. They're moving this southeast at 35. So if we keep this little box here so we can keep our wits about us, right? Got downpours in Knoxville. It's ugly. And we know that Pigeon Forge, and specifically Dollywood, was hardly hit, was hit hard, I should say, Sunday night. They were hit very hard with about 4 inches of rain. Fortunately, we're not seeing that. We're seeing about 2.5 so far. But if this continues to move southeast at 35, it will go over toward Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. And we'll put it 35 right there. That would include Cosby. That would include Newport. But Kodak, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg should be on guard for what's in Knoxville now is headed your way. And the timing of some of those towns are on the right side of your screen. So when we're looking at Crossfield now, Carter, maybe now, should be around, say, High Bluff at 5:22. That's 2 minutes from now. Strawberry Plains, 5:22. So some of these towns, you can see there, Kimberlin Heights, 5:23. Perrin Hollow at 5:22. So some of these towns, these little white dots, by the way, do not represent hailstones. They're just representative of towns, communities, subdivisions, and neighborhoods. And that's what we're trying to be, not only local, but be hyper-local, right? Be super local. Be as local as we can so that you know what to expect. And look at that. They just popped a new one. They just popped the new severe thunderstorm warning for Hamlin County and Granger County till 6. Looks like they have a Hamlin County there, maybe even Jefferson County. But this is, again, till 6, because they see what's south of Tazewell is headed in this area as well. So this is the other area that's also moving roughly about 35 miles to the south and east. So these areas here are going to get hit with the rain that's just northwest of Maynardville. All this red area, the colored high intensity, high reflectivity represents dark skies, lots of thunder, and lots of wind. Now, if you need evidence the thunder's there, my goodness, does it not muddy up the map? I'd say so, because what do we have? Over 2,000 lightning strikes there? Yeah, there's a lot of lightning here, so I'm going to just dispense that. We'll assume it's there, it's coming down, and it's probably frightening the dog, the cat, and any fur babies in your home. But as far as the one that's in Knox County is kind of split in half, almost to a half, because we have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to include Seymour here in the next few minutes. This is going to intensify in Kodak. And it should fill in Jefferson City and Flat Gap here in the next 20 minutes or so. So please be extra careful. Again, it's moving southeast at 35. It's got 60-mile-an-hour gusts potentially. If you need more evidence of that, I can double check what the velocity is showing. We're going to take off some of the other colors. But typically, again, there may be some turnaround time, maybe some buffering, but anytime you see these bright colors, there's 56, 50, there's some strong winds, and that's going to take out some trees, which could take out some power. There's a 64 gust there in Scott County. So you know, maybe you don't know, it's coming down with the ferocity of the rain, but it's also going to do some damage to some trees with the wind. Those trees could topple, and in essence, they could cause your power to go out. Just in the last 30 minutes, these winds weren't that strong. Some of them were 12. Now they're 22 and 32. Now they're 56. So some of these winds are just now beginning to increase, and as the computer catches up, this is going to be over much of Knox County, and it's also going to affect downwind into Sevier County, as well as possibly Blount and Jefferson County. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'm here to check in with your comments because I don't like doing all the talking, but I'm the only one with the microphone, right? I want to go back. Let's see here. Let me go back. I've just finished my 7-day. I'll get that out as soon as we get out of the mess here, because this is messy. Let's go back to the warnings. We're going to turn off the velocity. We'll go back to the radar so it gets a little more clear to see. But I can't emphasize enough, it may still be raining in these areas from Somerset to Monticello in here. It may still be raining here, but this is child's play compared to the intense rain that's coming right down right now through parts of Monroe County, Blount, Loudoun, Knox, Northern Blount, and really into Sevier County here in mere moments. So just brace yourself for some disruptive weather. Have we been through worse? Absolutely. Will we make it through tonight? Absolutely. But I just want you to know that we've got some concerns and some flooding concerns. Flood advisory now just issued for areas around probably Seymour. Yep, Seymour until 8:30. That's kind of like the early stage. How do I phrase this? I'm back on camera. When you typically see an aerial flood advisory, that's kind of like the first step, because really the next step is the flash flood warning. That's the granddaddy of them all. I guess you could argue a flash flood emergency is now the granddaddy of them all, because that's the worst case situation where there's water rescues and all that. Hopefully we don't get to that point, but we do have our fair share of flash flood warnings for Blount County. You can see those areas in the Burgundy, right, between Farragut, Arrowhead, around Alcoa, but these areas have had a lot of rain, and then they had to expand it to include Von Orr. So the Weather Service, on their toes, they do a fantastic job. I have nothing but praise for them. They're doing a great job, but it's important that you get this information at your fingertips and aren't relying on social media alone to get your information. Know that if you're in a situation where you see standing water and you're driving a vehicle, it's very important that you don't drive through it, but turn around and go someplace else. It's just smart. It's not worth putting your life in jeopardy over trying to get someplace in a hurry, because then you're going to kick yourself and say, I should have listened, or I knew better, but I did it anyway because I'm in a strong SUV or a pickup truck. That's nonsense. If the water's rushing and you think you're in a sturdy vehicle, you don't know if there's a sinkhole under the road, and even though you might know the road like the back of your hand, you just don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And as it gets dark, sometimes it looks dark with all these clouds. It's just better to turn around and don't drown. Want to say a special thanks to my sponsor, Marco's Pizza. Couldn't bring you this Ultimate Doppler Radar without the sponsorship of my sponsors and Marco's Pizza of the Ultimate Doppler Radar, so thank you for them. And if you're wanting to help support me, order some pizza and tell them Captain Accurate sent you. That does go a long way. They have locations in so many places now. Hardin Valley, Maryville, Fountain City, Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, Ebenezer Road, and of course in Farragut. Farragut, we had our great Twisters premiere last week, and they donated pizzas to our whole group, so it was awesome. So we're very thankful for a fundraiser for the American Red Cross. All right, as I digress, just to recap, 6 o'clock, severe thunderstorm warning will expire. It does include downtown Knoxville. We've got some torrential rain right now from Midway, back toward Mascot, back towards Seven Islands, Colonial Village, Arrowhead, and Beechwood, and it is affecting Amherst, Bearden, and Rocky Hill. Rocky Hill, Bearden area, has been hammered with heavy rain. We see it's closing in on 2.5 inches in some cases around Bearden, if I'm not mistaken. That would appear to be the case, because of my little eyedropper, I can see there's 2.8. So they're coming up. And on the east side of Carnes, they've had about 2.5. Rocky Hill has had probably close to 2.4. So this is nothing to sneeze at. Please know that water can stand very quickly in that type of environment. It's not everywhere. If you're in Hardin Valley, you're going, it's not that bad. That guy's nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. A few miles makes, right? Doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all when you think about what's the difference between Hardin Valley and Bearden. Oh, it's just like 8 miles. Well, there's a big difference, right? 5, 6 miles, what a few miles makes. Some people got a lot of rain. Some people got a half inch. Half inch, 2.6. That's a big difference. And that's why I say it's so important to get information from an app that can give you some intel and also get you ready for the drive home. If you're just now trying to embark on the drive home, I encourage you to check out Pete Michaels Traffic. He's got the latest update on the app that you can check out. Let me check you in with your comments. I'm going to come back on camera as we are still watching the severe thunderstorm warning till 6 o'clock. I'm going to come back on camera. I have at my disposal the ability, hopefully, if I have this all wired up correctly, I do. I think I have it wired up. Let me check in with you because you might have a comment. I have Jeff Brown. He's letting us know, by the way. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me bring in Jeff. Let's see if I can get Jeff on there. Oops, let me switch. Yeah, there's a great advertisement for my app and Pete Michaels, no doubt. Let me get back over here and we'll switch this onto the other side. Let's see here. Let's see. Did I mess that up? I might have messed that up. Let's see if I can get back on the other screen. Let's see here. Let's wipe this over here. It's not going to let me do that. That's going to be fun. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can move this back. I know what I've done. There it is. I'm learning some of the technology that I have. The messaging is probably the most important. Let me get back to Brenda. Let's see what Brenda has on here. Oops. Nope. Doesn't want me to do that. I now have learned something new. I have to be on this screen. Let me get back to the full screen. I have to get to this screen to be able to show the comment. And that's okay. Let me do that. I think Brenda's on here. I think I can put, nope. You know what it is? I maybe toggled on too many. That's the issue. Let's see here. I'll tell you what. It is not letting me do it. Maybe I could do it on this one. I think maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew for this live stream. But anyway, Brenda Sharp says, thank you, David. Appreciate you much. And Jeff Brown, so come back on camera. We're still watching this. Jeff Brown says, thank you. It's starting here in Tazewell. So we're just now going to see some rain up in Tazewell up toward the north. We can move that up here. There's Tazewell. I can see that. So the rain is maybe affecting some areas more than others. That's for sure. That's where we see Tazewell. They're under a severe thunderstorm warning. It appears as well until roughly 6 o'clock, 5:30. So we have another minute. Some of this will improve quite a bit in Claiborne County where there's been a warning. Rutledge is also included. Morristown should brace for some impact for more rain. Buffalo Springs is getting it now. It'll be moving into Boggs, Bean Station, and Jaybird. It'll affect White Pine, where one of my spotters, Marilyn Bell, is located, Jefferson City. We've got more activity there from Keith. Perhaps you should be prepared for that. Heavy rain around Kodak, Sevier County, where Lana Johnson is, Boyd's Creek, downpours, Wooddale, Mascot, you name it. We've got it, and it's just really ugly because it has to pass through. But I can tell you some improvement is already showing up in Carnes. Its improvement is noticeable in Oak Ridge, in Clinton, in Bull Run, and certainly Farragut. So the heavy rains have disappeared from those areas for the moment, but it's still coming down in buckets in other areas. I'm looking at Greenback for the flash flood warning. That runs till 8:15. Vonore, Howard, Riverside, Monroe County till 8. So again, even though the rain may end, the runoff and the big puddles may still persist. So that's why I think they leave that up till about 8 o'clock, just so that the creeks and streams can maybe get back inside their banks, so to speak. There's been a lot of rain here as well. I don't remember if we checked it as closely, but let me take a look here and see if we had some bullseyes. Yeah, we did. We had quite a few bullseyes here. Some really dark yellows area. This would include Loudon. Let me pull this over here. Let's pull up the eyedropper. Looks like we got a 3.1 around Greenback, 2.5. Howard about 2.6. Vonore about 2. Loudon has had about 2.4. Lenoir City about 1.25 inches. That might be conservative. Around Oral about 2.6. Philadelphia to the west, maybe less than 1 inch. And Riverside, less than 1 inch, ½ inch. So it really depends on where you are, but you say that all the time, but it's true. It can depend on where you are located. If you happen to be in that rainfall bullseye, that's where the words turn around, don't drown can really be of help to you. Because if you're not aware of it's bad. It's really bad in some of those darker green areas. And we switch back to the radar, it's still coming down. It's heavy in Nyota. It's heavy in Decatur. Athens is under a severe thunderstorm warning till 6:30. That's an hour from now, a little less than an hour from now. So I'm just watching the comments come in. And again, very thankful for all of you. I realize now what I did on the comments, so my apologies. But if I put the comment on there, it will cover up the screen. So maybe that's not the best option that lies ahead of me. Wanda Poe says, when will it hit Newport? Good question. We can find that out because it's also going to affect areas in Sevierville and Pigeon Forge. Newport, you're on the outskirts. You're not under the warned area. But I can tell you from the text from our friends at the National Weather Service, they had issued this severe thunderstorm warning at 5:09. They had this moving east, southeast at 35. So 35 miles an hour is still what this is likely. Oops, let me grab this box here. Is likely where it's moving at this juncture. So it's going to be continuing on this path to about, let's put it to about 35. There it is. And so it may miss Newport. I mean, this may fall apart before it gets to the heart of Newport, Wanda, but thank you for asking. Some of the towns that will be affected are Catlettsburg, 538, Smoky Stadium, 539, and could very well be affecting areas around Doyle Springs at 541. That's the storms that are affecting Seymour right now. All that's moving in the direction of Pigeon Forge, and it's moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. If you're a visual person and don't like the times on the screen, I think the best option here to show you is what's coming our way in terms of future radar. And what am I talking about? First, though, the currents, because I want to show you the outages. We have quite a few of those. And if you need evidence, let me declutter the map for us, right? We have, in Knox County alone, 6,000 people are without power. But it gets worse. In Blount County, with numerous trees down, we have 10,000 power outages. Now, if I overlay the damage reports, oh, well, that's very intel. That's good intel, right? We've had these little boxes. There's 800 in Union County, 200 out in Scott, about 700 are without power. In Fentress County, Cumberland's got 700, 100 in Morgan County. Anderson's out power without 200 people, 1,500 in Jefferson County, and it would appear Monroe County still on the low side with 100 and 200 there in Loudoun. So, yeah, power can go out. If your phone's not charged, you lose power. It can be very disruptive. Excuse me, Campbell County, I believe, is 800, and areas up into Kentucky, about 100. Monticello, Wayne County, 1,500. So it can depend on if you're in McCreary or maybe Wayne County, anywhere from 300 to 1,500 power outages at the moment. The reason I popped over here is I wanted to see real briefly, because the question invariably comes up, when's it going to reach my town? And the answer is better seen by looking at the app, because you can zoom into your town, places of interest to you. This is where we are currently. Let me just fast forward. This is where we're going to be in another 90 minutes to 2 hours. So look at the dramatic change in Wartburg, Jamestown. In the next 90 minutes, the rain's going to come to a screeching halt in Cumberland County. It will stop completely in Fentress County, Morgan County, Scott County. I know that may seem hard or foreign concept right now because it's still raining, but this is where it's all going to be. And that's why I said it wouldn't surprise me if the severe thunderstorm watch expires before 9 p.m. I've said probably between 7 and 8. I'm not the umpire here. I'm just the spectator giving you my take. My take is this will not last us till 9 o'clock. These storms will be gone. They'll be moving into the mountains of North Carolina, and so it goes. But the mark of this storm will be either loss of power, damaged trees, power outages, well, all the rest. So, and standing water. Standing water may be an issue. But clearly, as I stop this here at about 6 o'clock, what is the time now? It's 5:36. So we go about 6 o'clock, top of the hour. It's going to be leaving Knox County. The red areas will be squarely in northern Sevier County. By the time we hit 6:15, should be over Morristown, central Jefferson, right through Sevier County, and then stretching into the counties down toward Cosby and so forth. So I just wanted to show you the trend, right? And one of the cool features that this offers is what you have on the free Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. You get the past 2 hours radar, the current radar, and then the 2 hours future, all from pressing one button. You press the button at the bottom, the happy cloud does its thing, it goes from left to right, and you get past 2 hours, current hour, and then the future 2 hours without having to click around and move around, which sometimes can be rather challenging. So I'm going to go back to the radar because I think current radar. So now that we've kind of lived in the fantasy world of where we're going to be 2 hours from now, and I think we will be there, this is what we're dealing with right now. If you're just joining me, I want to say welcome. The lightning is off the chart, and in some cases that lightning is numbering well over, was it 2,000? No, 4,000. Wow, that's intensified, right? But again, I might not be on the home view. Let me go back. Yeah, I'm on the home view. So we got over 4,000 lightning strikes. That's a lot of lightning. Another reason to get out of the neighborhood pool, right? So I'm not there. Or maybe you're hanging out by the lake today. Maybe you had the day off. But just to recap, we have numerous flash flood warnings, include Loudoun, Monroe till 8, Blount County till 8:15. It seems like things are improving in downtown Knoxville to the tune that there is no longer a severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County. Here's Knox, still getting the rain. I don't mean to dismiss the rain, but the intense rain has now moved east toward Midway and Kodak and is headed toward, Seymour and Boyd's Creek, and eventually Sevierville. It's all working in that particular direction. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in this area till 6. That's 21 minutes, 22 minutes from now, and the one that's up in Morristown will run till 6 as well. I think that's probably how long I'll go because I want to check your questions, get you ready for the evening, and know that the worst is over, I think, for many of you northwest of Knox County. If you're northwest of Knox County, it's still a problem in the plateau. I'm looking back here, but really it's now sagging toward Madisonville. It's moving toward Dunlap, and it's moving toward Etowah. So if you're headed toward Etowah, you're going to find a lot in the way of storms because it still hasn't had its impact down here in McMinn County yet. But it will. Give it time. Just keep an eye on the comments. Let's see if I can do that. Let me come back on camera. Just want to say good evening to you again as we're looking at some of the notes here behind me. I'm going to see if I can put this on my screen in front of me. Bernadette says, when will this next storm end? Probably between. I think the heaviest rain are ending now northwest of Knox County, but it's a good question because clearly, by far and away, if we get any more heavy rain, I think it will come back into play tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. So we'll get a break for much of the night. You'll think everything's good, everything's calmed down. I can finally sit down and enjoy the Olympics or whatever on Netflix, whatever you're going to watch. But I will say that the worst of these storms are likely to be over here in the next, I'll say 90 minutes. Because what are we looking at? By 7 o'clock, most of us are going to say, yeah, it's just rain. That's all. But the intense rain with the wind, that's been the big issue for many of us here in the last couple of hours. I'm looking at Paulette. She says, good to see you. Kodak is getting some storms. She's got several rounds of thunderstorms and heavy rain. Thank you for that update, Paulette Denton. And, of course, Brenda Sharp about 11 minutes ago says, thank you, David. Appreciate you very much. And I right back at you. Thank you, Brenda. I can't do this without your support, whether it be just watching, whether you send me stars, or whether you're a premium member. I'm grateful to be able to serve you in any way I can. I did post the 7-day forecast for my premium members. I will post it on the app here as soon as I get off the live stream here at the top of the hour, so that you are not in the dark. I do expect tomorrow to be about 89 to 90. I left it at 90 for tomorrow. I did drop it a degree because I think we still have a 60% chance of showers and storms tomorrow. And again, it's like shuffling the deck of cards, because you might be dealt a different card. You might get very little rain tomorrow. You might be so bold to say you don't get any rain tomorrow. It's going to be one of those situations that different communities see it. Because if you remember, where were we this morning? Oh, this would be a beautiful time. One of the things I like to do for my premium members is show them a review of the last 12 hours. Because look at this. 12 hours ago, this is what it looked like. We're going to take the sweep off because this is going to be very, very revealing. Where was the rain this morning? I thought you were calling for rain. We had a flood watch, right? We had a flood watch. This lasts, by the way, till 5 in the morning tomorrow. But it was not in effect for Crossville at 5:40 a.m. because you notice I went back in time here. I went back to 5:40 this morning. That's an hour before my live stream. But if I fast forward, we had a severe thunderstorm pop in Claiborne. Then we had it move into Hamlin and Granger County. And then we had more activity. That's where all the rain was this morning. It just kept going over Hancock County, the same spot. And then all of a sudden, we're like, are we going to get any rain in Knoxville? After lunch, the answer was yes. Because by 2 o'clock, boom, we had a severe thunderstorm watch. We had downpours. We had severe thunderstorms. We had flash flood warnings. I mean, this is amazing. Isn't it nice to be able to see in review of where we've been and where we're going? We're going to calm things down. We're going to slow the roll. and we're going to have some quiet weather heading into the next couple of hours. I suspect by 9 o'clock, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything dramatic on the radar. A couple of showers may still remain, but this just shows you a review. Since the last 12 hours, I like to show my premium members on a regular basis. So if you like to see where things were, you weren't looking at the radar, it's nice to be able to go back 12 hours or even more. I do that on occasion so that my premium members are aware of what's going on. And if you're interested, just go hit the subscribe button on the top of my Facebook page. You could also go to CaptainAccurate.com for more details. Let me get back to the radar. This is interesting because Kodak may be dealing with some very heavy rain, as is Newmarket. Morristown, our friends in Morristown and the Weather Service are going to be seeing heavy rain, as we see in Boggs, as we see around Buffalo Springs and Talbot. Keep in mind, because the radar is here, you're going to find the little cone of silence right here. You won't see anything there because that's where the radar is doing its thing. It's doing its loops, right? So you're not going to see imagery, or maybe you're not going to see reflectivity show up in that box. That's what you can really see it very apparent here. Once you get onto Johnson Highway around Arrow Hills, you feel like you're serving your community by having a radar there. You don't see much of the radar when a storm comes through. So we have to fill in the gaps. We know it's raining there. We know it's raining in Talbot, coming down hard in Jefferson City, and it's raining hard in maybe Mill Spring as this sweep goes back around. But just to recap, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, Jefferson County till 6. I'm probably going to go till 6 because I think we're getting through the worst of it now. We have definitely seen the worst for Knox County. But if you trail down toward Maryville, it's interesting. I said during the last live stream, I didn't think Maryville got the worst of it. In fact, it looked like it split. And if I just go back over the last 2 hours, look where Maryville was, right? Here's Maryville. How much rain do you think Maryville would have gotten in the last 2 hours? Because if you're here, Alcoa might have gotten more. But let me just show you, since 3:43, watch how the storms just kind of moved right by it. It wasn't a whole lot in Maryville. I mean, Maryville was spared, right? But that's not to say you can't get some tomorrow. You could. Heavy rains occurring in Christie Hill. It's happening in Happy Valley. It's been maybe happening certainly Greenback and down toward Fort Loudon. So there are some areas that have really gotten a lot of rain. And then you can compare and contrast that with those communities that have had very, very little, relatively speaking. I'm going to check real quick. Find it interesting because we're at 5:44. Just want to see where things stand as far as the airport. Our high temperature today hit 89 degrees, both Oak Ridge and Knoxville. I was expecting 89. We hit that mark. But at the airport, 0.24. That's it. We've had less than a quarter inch at McGee Tyson Airport. And is it any wonder? Because we just demonstrated that Maryville didn't have much. So the airport didn't get much. But boy, you go a few miles to Greenback, you go a few miles down toward Von Orr, and they've had off-the-chart rain, as we've just highlighted, right? They've had, in some cases, around Greenback, I think we're closing on 3.5. That's crazy. Well, here's Maryville, very little, right? Less than a quarter. Less than a quarter Maryville, but further north, around Rocky Hill, 3 inches. So just depends. Bearden, about 3 inches, has fallen. And probably on the east side of Carnes, you've had about 2.5 to 3. A lot of rain, but it's been locally heavy. And again, no one's going to be clairvoyant to know who gets the 3 inches, who gets the quarter inch. If I were that good, I'd be on Wall Street or in Vegas. I would be predicting all sorts of crazy. But I can tell you this, we have a 60% chance of rain tomorrow, which means when it rains, it pours. You could have this situation duplicate itself, but maybe it's over here, or maybe it's over here. It's just going to be as random as can be. That's why I say we're like shuffling the deck of cards in terms of rainfall again on Wednesday. And again, tomorrow I expect we'll hit around 90. We hit 89 today. So tomorrow will be a comparable day in terms of temperature. And of course, chance of rain will be still ever present. If you got a comment, let me know. I'm looking at my notes here on Facebook. Jeff wanting to know about storms. Let me see if I can get some of the latest comments coming in on YouTube or Facebook, either one, because I'm live streaming on both. Let's see here. Jeff says, why do most of the storms come through at night? I think with the heating of the day, Jeff, you might have zero clouds in the morning. You heat the ground, the sun heats the ground heats the air. You start creating rising motion and you get clouds, and the clouds produce rain. It's just a function of the cyclical nature sometimes. And in the summer, when it's this humid, it doesn't take much. Wanda Poe wanting to know about Newport. And of course, I had a note from Brenda thanking me for appreciating the time we're spending. By the way, it's now 5:46. My goal is to be done here at top of the hour, because I just want to carry this through We started this probably closer. Goodness, back. I've even lost track of time. When time did I start the first live stream? First one was quite some time ago. It was 3:23. I cut in at 3:23 this Tuesday afternoon. I was on for an hour and 10 minutes. I haven't been on quite that long this go around, but just wanted to make sure that you were aware that any storms that you're dealing with are going to be short-lived. I think once we get past 6 o'clock, that's why I feel comfortable signing off. Most of the storminess in Madisonville will be well south toward maybe Etowah, headed toward Bryson City, if there's any left there. Certainly some areas in Tallahassee and Greenback, they're all trying to drift away from us, not heading toward us, if that makes sense. You can see the track. It's going to go down toward the Dragon. It's going to go down 129 and head right into North Kakalaki, into North Carolina, and bye-bye the rain goes, the heavy rain, right? It does show rain, still raining in Clinton now. It's filled back in at Oak Ridge, but certainly not as intense as the red reflectivity. It's even stopped in Jamestown, and I dare say Oneida, you're seeing some vast improvement. I love that because these areas are what we're going to experience here in a short period of time. So it's already dried out in many of these areas in Jamestown to Oneida and further north and west for sure. That's where things are at the moment. Just to recap, Morristown getting hammered with heavy rain, potentially some strong winds. I'd like to check the winds here in Morristown just to see where things are. And it would appear that we've got winds that may be closing in on 40. They have 41 miles an hour. So you've got some strong winds, may not reach 60, but again, a 40-mile-an-hour gust will probably knock over a trash can and certainly could cause issues with power. I see back here 46, some of the winds back here 31, and maybe even higher. There's a 50 back here in Wayne County as recently that I can note, but some of these winds again are going to be damaging in this respect. They could take down power if the trees come down, and that's what we're seeing in some cases. The current conditions as far as power, let me come back real quickly here, basically reset the counter here, because in Knoxville and Maryville, both Knox County, Blount County, are turning green, so that means now 6,500 people without power in Knox County. That's hard hit. 5,000 people right now at 5:45 in Blount County without power. Just 100 in Monroe, 300 Loudoun, but if you're one of those 800 people, you're going, oh man, this is terrible because I forgot to charge my phone or what have you, or I wish I could turn my lights on. I got stuff in the refrigerator. I don't want to lose power for long. So I'm sure it'll be turned on as quickly as possible, but just know that you're not alone in this venture. We've got now in Anderson County, I believe, 300 people in Anderson County without power, and as we head into Kentucky, 300, 500. So clearly, the biggest, hardest hit areas have in fact been Blount County and Knox County in the last couple of hours. Like I said, I've been going on now for about on and off for the last 2.5 hours, just giving you updates, but I wanted you to be prepared for what's to come. One other check here. Let me go back real quickly. We've talked about this. Change this off. Again, where things are now and where they're likely to go is over the next 2 hours. This is all going to be headed away. Look at all the red areas. They leave Morristown. They do get follow-up rain in Granger County, Hamlin County. Morristown and Talbot will get more rain behind it, but it won't be as intense. And look at the dry areas from Crossville to Harriman to Clinton, Eureka. Oh, what time is that? It's like 7:30, 7:50. It gets so much drier. And like I said, it's going to be quiet tonight. Once the sun goes down, I left just a 30% chance of rain because there's going to be another round to come in around sunrise on Wednesday. Sunrise Wednesday. I have lows tonight down to 71. I have highs tomorrow at 90. That's where I expect to be tomorrow. In fact, I believe I can give you that forecast. I've already shared this with my pre-members, but I expect to reach about 87 tomorrow, Morristown, 90 in Kingston, 88 Oneida, 90 in Crossville. That's where I expect to be. So just so you want to know where things are going to be tomorrow, that's where I expect generally another hot day with a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. So that's where things are going to be. I can show you the forecast, no problem here. I want to show you the 7-day because this was not published or posted yet, but it will be as soon as I finish here up in about 9 minutes. But I do expect a hotter day on Thursday at 94. You go, man, we get less rain, but it gets hotter. That's right. And now Friday, looks a little more unsettled very late in the afternoon. I've upped it to 60. I have it on 60 for Saturday, but I upped it to 40% on Friday. So you've got Thursday, Friday, 94. Next week, 94, 96. So while it dries out, we could have a possible tropical storm or hurricane off the coast of the Bahamas or off the coast of Florida by early next week. I'm keeping my premium members in tune with where the extended trends are. But that's something, well, if there's nasty tropical weather off of Florida, that means zero rain here, potentially. We could have nothing, like dry as a bone, like all the rain is down in Florida, and it saps all the other energy across the playing field. So my anticipation is that Monday, Tuesday are bone dry but hot. You could call it hazy. It's still humid. But 94, 96, it's going to look like a lot like this past couple of first two weeks of July were very hot. We're trending in that direction next week. All right, let me go back. I know that's not why you're tuning in here because you want to see the radar. But again, if we can accept the notion that these storms are not going to stay put, they're going to move out. They should be gone here in the next 30, 60, even hour and a half time frame. Next 90 minutes, it should look like this, and it gets out of the picture. Let me go back to the radar. This is the current look with the sweeps. The Ultimate Doppler radar presented by your local Marco's Pizza. If you're looking for lunch or dinner, I guess it's now dinner at 5:53. Check out marcos.com and tell them Captain Accurate sent you. You'll love Marco's Pizza. Discover their local Marco's Pizza near you. Decatur, Etowah, Madisonville, very heavy rain here. We talked about the lightning. We have a lot of warnings that just kind of populate the map from flash flood to severe thunderstorm warnings that run right until about 6 o'clock this evening. We have the one in Morristown till 6, so I'm going to go another 7 minutes. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you're good, then I'm good. I just wanted you to be aware. Some of you had to drive home in this and maybe had some stories that you wanted to share with others. I do notice that we have a flash flood warning that's new for Sparta, White County. Putnam County is under a flash flood warning, as is our friends in Monroe County, and also into Blount County, Loudoun County till 8:15. There's a lot going on to unpack for sure. Jacob Hatfield says the severe storm we got went by fast. Thank you, Jacob. That helps me. Judy Kerr says it's calming down in Rutledge. I think that's the trend. I think we're now 6 minutes away from seeing a lot of these warnings disappear. Now, clearly, the last to leave the map will be the Burgundy polygons. That's the flash flood warnings because they're going to last till 8. Even though the rain ends in these areas, you may find some standing water or swollen creeks or streams that are out of their banks, that type of thing. So I think as a precautionary tale, if you're having to drive tonight, just be mindful until 8, 8:15. Some of these areas might have some surprise water on the roads, just as a byproduct. And as I mentioned, the severe storms that are now entering Sevierville might now just be beginning to show signs of moving into the Pigeon Forge area. Clearly nothing to be as alarmed as what you had on Sunday at Dollywood and Pigeon Forge, but you are getting some moderate rain, heavy rain in Red and Kodak, Alder Branch as well. This does affect Seymour and back toward Townsend. Townsend's not under a warned area, but you're getting some heavy rain in Happy Valley, Townsend. Gatlinburg's beginning to fill in with some rain, but nothing too extreme. It is a little more intense north of White Pine, over toward Witt, Morristown and Bean Station, and Treadway up towards just south of Sneedville, where they're currently under a flood watch till 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, the watch just means the conditions are favorable. Even the severe thunderstorm watch that lasts till 9, I've said probably a half a dozen times or more, I don't think it'll last until 9 o'clock. I think they'll pull the plug. The Severe Storm Prediction Center, in tandem with the help from the National Weather Service, will probably pull that plug between 7 and 8. That's just my guess. We'll have to wait and see, but that they do have it there in place just in case until 9 p.m. The rain is maybe light to moderate between Wartburg and Harriman, but most intensely is now affecting areas in southern Monroe County. Come back on camera. Just want to say thank you for your time. It is 5:56. Taking note of some of the notes that might be coming in. Keep in mind I'm on both YouTube and Facebook. Wanda Poe saying wind is starting to blow hard here in Newport. So she's over here. In fact, I've got my little telestrator. I can do Newport's right over here. I got my pencil. I got to get my pencil there. And then she's right there. I put it in black, but you can see Newport there. So it's beginning to advance in your direction. I do expect as we head toward the rest of the evening, a lot of this will begin to slow down. And the heaviest rains have already occurred in those Burgundy areas. That's just a matter of where things are. But Jacob saying the severe storm he got went fast. Judy is on here. She said Rutledge had a gust of 37 miles an hour. And so far in Rutledge, she's measured 1.1 inches of rain for this one. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you, Captain. My pleasure. Judy, thank you for being a premium member. And also very thankful for all of you that are watching tonight. We're just 3 minutes out. I think we'll sign off. But most of the heavy rain, again, on its way out. This is just the last 30 minutes. You could clearly see the trend is pushing it out of Loudoun. It's pushing it out of the Maryville area, although Maryville really was spared a lot of the heavy rain around you. We saw that Greenback got much more. And, of course, Decatur, Etowah, Crossville. Kind of curious how much rain Crossville had. I have time to check that real quick. I'm going to stop the loop because Crossville, they had, and certainly in west of you, in Cookeville, Sparta, maybe have had much more rain. But I do believe there's some yellow areas back here. So you look north of Crossville, they've had 2.8. Around Cookeville, 2.9 inches of rain. Near Sparta, 2.3. These are the heavy areas. 3.6 around Greenback, south of Loudoun. Rocky Hill, close to 3. East of Carnes, about 3 inches. So those are the bullseyes as far as the heavy rain, 2.6 down toward parts of Monroe County. So clearly these are Doppler estimates, but they are going to give you at least some insight as to where the heavier rains have been. Flood advisories are in some areas in Anderson County as well. They've had about 2.3 inches there, not far from Norris. And I've mentioned Rocky Hill, about 3 inches, 2.4 near Carnes. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, I'll keep you posted if something changes, but I suspect it's going to be pretty quiet here in the next 30 minutes or so. Maybe just one of those, sit on the porch and watch some of the lighter rain follow through as these warnings are going to be expiring here at the top of the hour. Just 2 minutes away. We do have a new one, though, for Cosby Newport. I think to be safe and to be fair, that is moving in the direction of Newport and Cosby. So let me give you the time frame of that. Juan and Poe, if you're still watching, I think it would be of consequence for those who are in Cock County or Del Rio. Got a couple of premium members in there as well. But they issued this at 5:49, 10 minutes ago. They have included South Central Hawkins, Southeastern Jefferson, Cock and Greene County, and East Central Sevier and Southeastern Hamlin County. They're saying that this is moving east at 70. Are you with me now? 70 miles an hour. So this thing's like motoring in here, right? This thing's flying in here. And so this little storm moving to the east is this little cell here. Look at this little cell. I'm going to circle it because this is one that just picked up speed right in here. And I'm kind of curious to see what that velocity looks like on here. Not going to show up much here, at least yet. Maybe it takes a while for this to buffer and get loaded. But I will say this, if this is moving at 70 miles an hour, you're going to have some intense rain moving to the east, and it would continue right off the page here. Right off the, I mean, this is just moving along like super fast. But it's headed in the direction of Weaverville and Hot Springs. It would put it into the Crockettsville area at 603, Jones Cove at 605, and a potential wind damage maker here in the Jenkins Mill area at 609. So that's where things are here at 6 o'clock. Just wanted you to be prepared of that. And yes, we say goodbye. Some of the severe thunderstorm warnings just expired in the Sevierville area. So all that's left is the one that's in Cock County and really Greene County to highlight a few areas at this time. All right. I have gone on long enough. I just wanted you to be prepared. I'm going to put out the 7-day here in mere moments. Thank you for your time. Please stay safe, and we'll see you here next time. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more updates. Since I've done so much live video this morning and this afternoon, I probably will not have an evening video, but I'll give you updates on my blog. We'll see you here soon. Take care.